What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we have Murfeesboro City's top four. On the left we have Chance, and on the right we have Don. Now, both these... Okay, and no Chance is from the Nashville area, and I know Don is somewhere from Alabama. I am not 100% sure. Now, I know on the left that Chance is playing Entei, and we know on the right, we don't know, neither one of us know, but Don just mulliganed with 3 Crushing Hammers, and Don is actually playing a Lucario Crushing Hammer deck. It's like a fighting Crushing Hammer deck. I've seen some kind of hype nowadays. I've seen a lot of people kind of play it, and let's see what Don has. I haven't actually seen his list. I've heard some funny things about it, but we'll see what happens. This is top 4 of the Murfreesboro City Marathon, and we will see what happens in this game already. We'll just wait for them to start. And like I said, Chance is playing Entei, and Don is playing the Landorus deck. And it looks like Don is going first because he did put the die on his side. Alrighty, so let's see. How does this matchup go? I'm not even 100% sure. Lucario, Lucario does have 100 HP, so Entei can't knock it out. And we see Chance starts with the Charizard. Don puts a Fighting Energy on the Lucario. Muscle Band, another Lucario, and just a pass. No supporters turn 1. We see a Scorched Earth, and Don, of course, picks it up. Don actually doesn't play Pokemon that much. He kind of plays whenever there's a tournament, just for funs. And we see an Ultra Ball from Chance, discarding double Fire Energy. That's what it looks like it is. Getting out the Entei that we have seen so much hype about right now. Like, Entei Charizard is one of the biggest decks right now in the format. And we see Don picking up Charizard, trying to see what it does. We see Shaybe drawn up to 6. I hope he picks up Shaman. Okay, I thought he was going to pick up Shaman to see what that does. We see a Professor Letter from Chance getting out 2 Fire Energies. And he can use the Scorched Earth to draw some cards with those Fire Energies if he wants to. Now, with the Scorched Earth, Don can actually use it as well because it's a Fire or Fighting Energy. So it'd be interesting to see if Don decides to use that. We see Chance using the Scorched Earth to draw 2 cards. And we see a Blacksmith. So turn 1, going to put 2 Fire Energies onto the Charizard EX. He's got an Acrobike, going to look at the top 2 cards of his deck. Going to discard the Muscle Band. It's just funny to see Don put his head down every time to see what's going on. Alright, we see a Fire Energy going on Charizard. And we might see a Slash. It does 60 damage, and now it does 80 damage. Alright, yeah, we see a Slash for 80, and on to Don's turn. He does have a Strong Energy. He's got some Fighting Energies. He could, Corkscrew Smash for 80. And we see Don. Oh, Don's going to use Scorched Earth to draw 2 cards. Alrighty, he does have multiple strong energies in his hand now. And let's see what he decides to do. He's got a Focus Sash, pretty much useless right now. Focus Sash going on to Lucario. It doesn't really matter. The Charizard and Entei can't take a one-shot onto these Lucarios because they have 180 HP. We see a Strong Energy, and we're going to see Corkscrew Smash doing 6, 8, 10, 100 damage coming down onto the Charizard EX. Alright, on to Chance's turn. We see Chance looking through his discard pile to see what he's going to do. Neither player has played... Oh, Chance played a Blacksmith last turn. We see a Giovanni Scheme to do plus 20 for the turn. And we're going to see a Slash for 100 damage to knock out the Lucario. So that's a very cool trick with Giovanni Scheme, because it does plus 20. And here we see Mush makes it do 100 damage, and 100 plus 80 is a knockout. We see a Karina coming down from Don. And it looks like he's going for a Hawlucha, and if he can somehow pick up this Lucario, he can knock out this Charizard this turn because it does have 100 damage on it. Oh, he'll need a Strong Energy and or a Muscle Man to knock it out. But if he could do that, he'll be in really good shape. And let's see what Don decides to get. He does get a Hawlucha, and he can get an item card out of his deck. And he does have the Super Scoop Up in his hand, so he could Super Scoop Up to pick up the Lucario. And here we see Battle Compressor from Don, discarding a Sycamore and a Hex Maniac. And let's see what the last card's going to be. I'm not sure. And a Team Flare Grunt. So as you see, Don's deck is all about discarding energies, but Chance's deck is all about getting energies out of the discard pile of Blacksmith. We see a Super Scoop Up, and let's see, is it going to be heads or tails? Okay, let's see what happens. And oh, it's heads. So you can pick up the Lucario, putting it down, put a Focus Sash on the active. That way this Hawlucha doesn't get knocked out. Strong Energy as well. A Muscle Bang on Lucario. And a Fighting Stadium as well. And we're going to see a Flying Press do 100 damage to actually knock out the Charizard. Now on a Chance's turn, he does promote the Entei. Now the Entei does need, I think, a Fire and a Colors to use his first stack. And let's see what Chance does. It looks like he's using a blacksmith, going to attach 2 fire energies to the Entei. We see a Scorched Earth discarding that fighting stadium. Yeah, Scorched Earth drawing 2 cards. And he does. Okay, so Trainer's Mug, look at the top 4 cards of his deck. I thought I saw a DC in there. He could attach the DC to Entei. We see Assault Vest coming down. We see Don picking up Entei, trying to figure out what does it do. I think this is like Don's first time seeing Entei. Probably didn't even know that was a card until right now. And let's see what happens. He does have the DC in his hand, so we can put the DC to Entei. And does he have a megaphone or not? Nope, just going to see a the second attack. I think he did the second attack. I don't think the first attack does 80 damage or 70 damage. We see a Lucario coming down. We see a Super Scoop Up. Tails. He's going to try to pick up that strong energy. A Verse Seeker. And let's see what he gets. He could get a Team Flare Gun to discard the DCE, but he realizes like, oh, I need some more stuff out of my deck. I don't have the energy to attack with Lucario at this turn. We see that he does have those Crushing Hammers as well. So we see a Crushing Hammer come down. He could discard the DCE. And it was a Tails. Alrighty. We see another Super Scoop Up. Tails. Oh man. Okay. 0 for 3 this turn. Another Crushing Hammer. Oh yeah. 0 for 4 this turn. That's what I'm talking about. Alrighty. Alright. So double Super Scoop Up Tails. And he actually leaves the Hawlucha in the active spot with the strong energy. I might actually retreat the Hawlucha to the other Hawlucha. Just making it where you can conserve the energies if you do draw into another Super Scoop Up. I think he's already played 3, though. I think he picked up 1 with the Lucario, and then he tried 2 that turn. And we see a Scorched Earth, drawing 2 cards. We see Assault Vest going out to the Entei on the bench. And let's see what else happens. A DC going on Charizard. And a knockout into the Hawlucha. Alright, on to Don's turn. Let's see what happens. We see a Muskman going to Lucario. We see a Karina going to get maybe enhanced. If he plays like Enhanced Tamer, he could discard the DC off the active. If it has, I think it has a DC on there. I can't really tell. There's a Hawlucha coming down. And let's see what item card he decides to get. And a Verse Seeker. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to put those in his hand. And we see just Don just actually pass. So Don doesn't have any energies right now. That's kind of bad on his part. And we see Chance. Okay, so on a Chance's turn, Scorched Earth is going to draw 2 more cards. And we see a Trainer's Mill. Let's see what he decides to get. Getting Acrobike. Alrighty. And we see that Chance is still just digging. He probably wants to power up the Charizard and or Entei. Just trying to get a Blacksmith for the turn. We see an Acrobike, and let's see what he decides to discard. We won't really be able to tell what he gets in his hand. Discards a DCE. Okay. Alright. And let's see what he decides to do. We see a Blacksmith. Okay, so we put 2 fire energies, and let's see what he puts it on to. He can put it on Charizard or the Entei. It looks like he's going to put on the active Entei. Did Don discard a DCE and I just miss it? Or maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm okay. Okay, maybe I don't know. Okay, so we see okay, maybe he didn't have 2 energies. And I don't know how many what's on that. I don't know what's on that Entei. I'm not gonna lie to you. But we see Entei take a knockout. We see an Ultra Ball discarding a fighting energy to Karina. Sorry, I couldn't tell. I thought that the Entei had a DC, but maybe it didn't. Maybe it just had 2 fire energies and maybe double what is it, double Muscle Band, and that way you can do 70. And we see a Verse Seeker from Don getting Sycamore, discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. He does have a strong energy. We see Enhanced Hammer discarding the DC off the bench Charizard. We see a Fighting Stadium coming down. And we see a Focus Sash coming down. We see a Trainer's Mill getting 4 cards. And let's see, he could get a Crushing Hammer. He could play double Crushing Hammer this turn if he wants to. And let's see what Don decides to do. He could play, oh, he gets the Sycamore for next turn. Alrighty. Don's deck is like really low too. He might deck out if he plays that Sycamore though. And we see a trick shovel. So as you see, Don is playing trick shovels in his deck. And I heard a rumor that Don had like 58 cards in his deck and he wasn't sure what to put in his deck. So he decided to put trick shovels in there just for fun. We see a Crushing Hammer, and it looks like he got another Tails. And it looks like we see a Missile Drive for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then minus 40? Wait, what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I'm not sure what just happened there. Did he use Giovanni's Scheme? I don't even know what just happened. What? Maybe okay. Maybe he was using. Oh, I'm not sure. All right, on to game two. I'm not sure what happened. If he was using the first attack, that would make some sense. If he had double muscle band, like the first attack does 30, and then if he had double muscle band, it does 70. But I thought he attached a soul vest, and if he has double muscle band, that makes a lot of sense. Then that would make a lot more sense as why he knocked out the Haluchas. So say that the Entei had double muscle band. It was using heat tackle to take knockouts and doing 70 damage that way, and that way it would reduce damage the following turn by 30, if I remember correctly. Entei math is so weird because you have Assault Vest, sometimes you have Parallel City, sometimes you have Heat Tackle. I think it's Heat Tackle. I think the first one's Heat Tackle. I could be wrong though. I haven't really played Entei that much, so I don't remember the attack names. Or Flame Screen. I think that's what the first attack is called. Flame Screen and Heat Tackle. I could be wrong though. Alright, but here we go. We're gonna set up for game number 2. And what could be different? I don't know. Don hitting heads on cards, on flip cards could be great. We see a Lucario start from Don, which is what you usually want to start. Like I said, Chance's deck can't take one-shots on these 180 HP Pokemon unless you use Giovanni Schemes. And here we see a Lucario. And nope, we don't see an Ultra Ball. Professor Letter going to get 2 Fighting Energies out of his deck. And to see what's all in there, we see a Fighting Energy and another Fighting Energy. Alrighty. And let's see. Don's just looking through his deck to see what's all in there. Just make sure he knows what's prized, what's not prized. It's always good to do turn 1 to see what's all in there. You know, you never know what's in your deck until you check it, and that's what we see Don's doing here. We're gonna see 2 Fighting Energy go to his hand. We see a Karina. This might get down. Okay, it gets down Lucario, and I imagine it might get either maybe a Battle Compressor. Discard those techie supporter cards. Maybe I don't know. Okay, so he goes for a Trainer's Mail. So okay. I don't know why he went for Trainer's Mail. Cause like the card you can already get. I guess well if he doesn't have a supporter card in hand, you could use it to grab a Sycamore. So I guess that makes kind of sense. Cause you can't Karina for a supporter card. So you can Karina for a Trainer's Mail, then get a supporter card off Trainer's Mails that way for next turn. That could be great. We see a Fighting Energy going to the active, and we'll probably see a pass. You really can't do much turn 1. Oh, Muscle Man going to the active. A Focus Sash going to bench Lucario, and just a pass on to Chance's turn. Now let's see what Chance does. There's a Scorched Earth coming down. We see an Ultra Ball discarding 2 Fire Energies, and I imagine this will get down to Shebe to draw some more cards to help draw through his deck quicker. Maybe another Entei, but I imagine the most part will be another Shaman, just to help draw through your cards fairly quickly. Yep, there's a Shaman EX coming down, so that way he can draw 2 of 6 cards. Alrighty, now, Chance, let's see. If he gets a Blacksmith and a DCE, he'll be like in really good shape. Let's see what happens. Okay. So we're going to see a Trainer's Mail go to the top 4 cards of his deck, and let's see what he decides to get. He's going to get the Scorched Earth. He already has one in the hand. Maybe he has an Ultra Ball in hand that he wants to use to discard with the Scorched Earth. I'm not really sure why he grabbed another one. Maybe to counter react like a Fighting State if it comes down next turn. We see a Shaman drawing some more cards. And we see a Charizard EX coming down. A Scorched Earth drawing 2 more cards. And let's see, does he have a Blacksmith or not? Oh man, if he doesn't have a Blacksmith, the Don's in really good shape because it makes it where Chance can't really attack him this turn. Because Entei's first attack does need a Fire and a Colors. They see a Lysander, bringing up the other Lucario. And yeah, that's good for Don. Alright, so on to Don's turn, he has a Strong Energy in hand. We see an Ultra Ball discarding a Sycamore and Enhanced Tamer. And let's see what he decides to go for. Alright, so a Hawlucha. Alrighty, fair enough. And what Don can do is just put a Strong Energy on Lucario and punch it for 50 if he wants to. There's a Scorched Earth, draw 2 cards. Oh, that's not what he wants. He was probably looking for a Super Scoop Up to use Scorched Smash. We see a Strong Energy going on to the active, and we might see a Muscle Dive just doing 50. Oh, he actually plays a Sycamore, discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. Let's see what he decides to get. Another Hawlucha coming down. Trainer's Mail, look at the top 4 cards of his deck. Let's see a Trick Shovel, Verse Seeker, Karina, or a Fighting Energy. Oh man, he could just get the Trick Shovel just to be funny. But goes for the Verse Seeker. I actually heard that Don won a game by Trick Shoveling out somebody. I don't know if that's 100% sure, 100% confirmed or not, but that's a really funny thing to say. But we're going to see Missile Jab doing 3, 4, 5, doing 50 damage to the Entei. Alrighty, going to Chance's turn. Let's see. We see a Scorched Earth, going to draw 2 cards. We see an Acrobike, and let's see, discards a Muscle Band, gets another Acrobike, discards a Fire Energy for a Trainer's Mail, getting an Ultra Ball. Wow, so you Acrobikes for an Acrobike, and then Acrobikes for a Trainer's Mail, and then Trainer's Mail for an Ultra Ball, and the Ultra Ball will probably get him a Shaman EX to help draw cards. I could be wrong, but that's what I would guess. Some kind of tool goes into the active. I think it's a Muscle Band, it seems like it is. We see an Ultra Ball discarding, I think that was a Giovanni Scheme and maybe a Scorched Earth. And there's another Shaman EX coming down. Like I said, he wants to draw through his cards. He needs a Blacksmith this turn. He needs to start attacking this turn for sure. So we're going to see Don cut his deck. And let's see what happens. Just chance, get the Blacksmith or not. We see a DC actually go to the bench Charizard. Shaman drawn up to 6. Trainer's Mail. Let's see what Chance decides to get. He gets nothing. Alrighty. Now, it's interesting that Chance puts a DC on the bench Charizard EX. I might put on the active. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe Chance is scared of a Lucario knocking out his Entei next turn, so maybe that's why he didn't want to commit a DC onto it. We see a Fresh Letter again, 2 Fire Energies out of the deck. I'm just trying to put them into his hand. Could use them this turn or not. Let's see what happens. Alright. Does Chance have will he play a supporter card? He hasn't played a supporter yet. Not that I know of. I could be wrong. I don't think he's played one. Okay, just to pass regardless. And on the Don's turn, he has a Crushing Hammer. Let's see what happens. Tails once again. I don't think Don's flipped heads on a Crushing Hammer yet. And let's see, Don has a Fighting Energy going out to the active. We could see his Corkscrew Smash for 80 to knock out the Entei. We see him an Ultra Ball, discarding a not a Lysander, an AZ and a Birch. And let's see what he decides to get here. I don't think Don is actually playing any Shamans. If I remember correctly, I don't think Don even owns any Shamans. He was borrowing the majority of these cards, and he still has my Focus Ashes too. Don borrowed my Focus Ashes and didn't give them back. What a jerk. Here we see a Verse Seeker for Sycamore, discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. And let's see what happens. Does he have a Stadium to counteract if the Scorched Earth? That could be something good to look into. And let's see, we're going to see a Silent Lab coming down. Going to bump that Scorched Earth. No, we're not. Never mind. Don tricked us. Alright. Oh, we're going to see his own Scorched Earth coming down. Enhanced Hammer, discarding the DC. Now, that's really clutch right there. Okay, Fighting Stadium. Nope. Silent Lab coming down. Going to bump that Scorched Earth. Making it where Chance can't use it next turn. And we can see a Corkscrew Smash drawn up to 6. Knocking out the Entei and then taking a price card. Alright. Chance's turn. He's going to sit up the Entei. Alrighty, let's see what happens here. Chance put down another Scorched Earth, and he had a Fire Energy, so he had another Scorched Earth in his hand. I think this is his third one. And his Chance using a Blacksmith. Oh no, Lysander bringing up Lucario. And, some kind of tool going to the active, and just a pass. So Chance is being very unlucky right now. I think that's a tool. They try to move. I still can't see it though. You try to move it down some. We see a Trainer's Mail. Let's see what Don decides to get. Gets a Fighting Stadium. Okay, so he can bump that Scorched Earth once again, which is great. Alright, so Fighting Stadium coming down. Going to bump that Scorched Earth. We see a Karina. And let's see, does Don have a switch? He might have to play a Super Scoop Up trying to pick up the Lucario. That might be his only option. Don kind of hurt himself by putting down multiple Lucarios. Just saying, you know, if you'd like to enter my Lucario, I'm kind of stuck. And let's see what Don decides to get. I mean, does he have any Super Scoop Ups left? Oh, I don't remember him playing that many Super Scoop Ups game number 2. Well, let's see what Don gets. Okay, he's gonna get a Verse Seeker, and that's it. Looks like we might just see a pass from Don. Really, he does have a Crushing Hammer. Oh, that must be a DC on the active. That's what it is. Okay. All right, we're good. We're good. We know what they are. And Super Scoop Up. Come on, man, Don is like 0 for 100 right now on Super Scoop Ups right now. Okay. We see a Fighting Energy going to the active. Trick Shovel. And he's actually going to keep that card on top of Chance's deck. Saying, Chance, you can keep that card. It's not good. And oh, did he give him the Scorched Earth? I'm not sure. Oh man, I don't know what card he gave him. But we see another score start coming. That has to be Chance's 4 score start. And it looks like we might see a slash for 60 this turn. Oh man, Don is in a bad position right now. Okay, so 60 damage from Lucario. We see a Focus Sash going down to Hawlucha. We see a Fighting Stadium, Versiker. Does he has the AZ in the discard pile? He could use it to pick up the Lucario if he wants to. Let's see if he goes for that player or not. Nope, gonna go for Sycamore, discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. Alrighty. And let's see, Don has a strong energy. Does he have... Oh, why is it he discarded his Fighting Stadium? He keeps doing that. I think that's like his 3rd time he keeps discarding his Fighting Stadium. We see a Fighting Energy going on to the active, and we might see a Corkscrew Smash for 60. We see another Fighting Energy going on to the Lucario, and we'll see a Corkscrew Smash for 60. Alright, on to Chance's turn. Let's see what happens. I mean, Don is actually in an okay position. He could potentially just knock out these Enteis over and over again. We see a Sycamore from Chance, discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. We're going to see, yeah, we're going to see Charizard take a knockout this turn, that's for sure. Combustion Blast going to do 150 damage. We're going to see Hawlucha come up, and on to Don's turn. Let's see what happens. He could knock it out with Hawlucha in the active spot if he has another energy, but he's already committed so many energies with the Scorched Earth early in the game. And we see Don using Karina, grabbing Trick Shovel maybe. Okay. Yeah, not going to get anything. Okay. Don might deck himself out before he actually wins the game. Let's see, a Muscle Man going onto the Hawlucha, a Strong Energy going on to the Hawlucha in the active spot. You're going to see a Flying Press doing 6, 8, 10, knocking out that Charizard EX, and Don will go down to 3 price cards. Now, if Don can somehow get the Strong Energy off the active Hawlucha instead of bench Lucario, he can Somersault Kick pretty much for a knockout if he wants to. It does 140. There we see a Muscle Man going on to the Entei. Another Muscle Man going on to the Entei. Oh no, that's an Echo Arm. Never mind, I lied. He used Echo Arm to put 2 Muscle Bands back into the deck. I thought he was using, just attaching the Muscle Bands. But Chance has like 30 cards in his hand, so we'll see what happens. Whatever Chance needs, he probably has it in his hand. We see a DC going on Charizard. We see a Blacksmith put 2 energies on the Entei. And that means he can use the first attack for 30 and make damage being reduced by 20 or 30. I can't remember exactly what it is. Muscle Man going on to the active. So the Flame Screen will do 50. We see an Ultra Ball discarding an Ultra Ball and something else. I'm not sure what that other card is, but I know for sure he Ultra Balled away an Ultra Ball. And he opts not to get anything. We see a or maybe he grabbed Shaman. I can't tell. It happened so quickly, I can't tell. But Shaman drawn up to 6. Alright. We see some other tool getting attached to the active, a tool being attached to the bench Charizard. I wish we had like PTCGO where it tells us exactly what they are. So we see a Flame Screen for 50 onto the Hawlucha. And let's see what Don decides to do. There's a Crushing Hammer, Heads, going to discard that DC off the bench Charizard. And let's see what he decides to do. He can't really knock out the Entei this turn since he used Flame Screen. There we see another Crushing Hammer. Head's going to discard one of those fire energies off the active. And maybe play Karina. I'm not really sure what he's looking for if he does Karina. We see a Verse Seeker. Let's see what he gets. Lysander bringing up Charizard EX. And we will see a Flying Press for 100 damage. And it looks like Don's going to attach a Fighting Energy onto the... I would actually attach to the Lucario with the Muscle Band. So like both your Lucarios can use Somersault Kick. Corkscrew Smash, and maybe a Somersault Kick out of nowhere if they need to. And it looks like we're going to see a Flying Press for 100 damage. It does 60 base, and then with the Strong and Fighting Stadium does plus 40 for each of those. Alright, on to Chance's turn. Does he have some way to retreat this Charizard EX is the big question. Let's see what happens. We see an Acrobike, and let's see what Chance decides to discard. He discards the Muscle Band, saying, I don't really need this. All my Pokemon do a lot of damage already as it is. Okay, let's see what happens. What is Chance going to do? We see a Blacksmith. I think that's what that was. I don't think there's any other supporter card. Yeah, it's a Blacksmith. Yep, there's 2 Fire Energy come into play. And let's see where they go. They're going to go into this bench Entei. Okay. And let's see, does Chance have a way to retreat? And nope, he's just going to pass. Going to leave the Hawlucha in the active spot. Now, Don does have that Super Scoop Up. He could use it to pick up the Hawlucha in the active spot to kind of save that Strong Energy from being discarded out of play. That might actually be a really good play. And let's see if he does that or not. He does have a Team Flare Grunt. Okay, never mind. Don just tried a Team Flare Grunt when Team Flare Grunt only affects the bench. Okay, alright. So we see that Don goes for a Karina. I'm not really sure what he just grabbed. It looks like a Verse Seeker maybe. And we see a Flying Press knocking out the the Charizard EX. And here we see an Entei coming up. It has 3 Fire Energies, a Muscle Band, and a Soul Vest. Alright, thank you for fanning that all the way out so we can see everything. We see a Blacksmith put 2 more Fire Energies on that Entei EX. Oh my goodness. Alright, on to Don's turn. Does he have a Lysander and an Energy? Okay, let's see what Don decides to do. He does have a Trick Shovel in hand. And let's see, does he use it or not? So Trick Shovel, gonna look and discard the Assault Vest. And I think that makes it where Chance has 1 card left, and while Don has 2 left in his deck. We see a Team Flare Gun discarding a Fire Energy, which really does nothing. That Entei still has 4 Fire Energies left. And let's see what happens. I mean, Chance has 3 prize cards. Don has 1. And let's see what he decides to do. We'll probably just see retreat into one of the Lucarios. They both do the same amount of damage. They both do 80. So let's see what happens. We see retreat into Lucario. And we will see. I think he's trying to figure out the. Yeah, so Corkscrew Smash doing 6, 8, and then does 40. I think that's what it was. 6, 8. And then down to. Or did he. I'm not sure. I can't remember if Entei flame screen or not last turn. But on the Chance's turn, he needs to refill his deck, and oh, it looks like we're going to game number 3. So Chance actually decked out because of the Trick Shovel. Don used double Trick Shovel, and it might have basically won him the game. I think if Chance could attack this turn and then attack again, he would have won. I mean, Chance only had what, 2 prize cards left, 3 prize cards left. I think, yeah, maybe. Let's see. He would have attacked, gone down to 2, attacked, gone down to 1, and then he could have Lysandered. Yeah, I think both those Trick Shovels won him the game. It bought him 2 more, it saved him 2 turns, which might have been enough for Chance to pull out. So here we see a game number 3. Game number 2, I'm not even sure what happened. Like, I don't even know. Like, it's such a weird matchup. Okay, but game number 3, we see Don Bowl again. And let's see what happens at game number 3. Alright. Now, Don's deck is good because it discards, it has Team Flare Grunts, it has Crushing Hammers, it has Enhanced Hammers. It can discard so many energies, but Chance's deck just gets him back a Blacksmith, so it doesn't really matter. And here we're going to see game number 3. Let's see what happens. We see Chance starts with the Charizard, and Don start with the Hawlucha, which is good because you can start using Flying Press turn 2 and put major pressure onto this Charizard EX. Alright. And let's see. Professor again, 2 Fire Energies. Alrighty. So let's see what happens. Okay. So see an Ultra Ball discarding those 2 Fire Energies, and this get down to Shebe. Or maybe Entei. Maybe he already has Shebe in his hand, so that's why he opted not to get a Shebe this turn. That's my best reasoning. And let's see what happens. A Blacksmith turn 1 onto the Charizard EX. Alright, we see a Shebe drawn up to 4. See a Scorched Earth. Scorched Earth drawn 2 more cards. That Shaman was confused, but thankfully the judge was there to fix him. Alright, and let's see what happens. That a Fire Energy attachment? Alright, on to Don's turn. Let's see what happens. He's got an Ultra Ball, discarding a Super Scoop Up and an Ultra Ball. Let's see what Don decides to get here. Like I said, Don doesn't have any Shamans in his deck. He just kind of plays like Lucario and Hawlucha, and that's pretty much it. I guess, Don said, I don't need no Shamans. Like I said, Don doesn't really play either, so he probably couldn't borrow Shamans either. But here we see another Hawlucha coming up, so it's going to be a Hawlucha army. We see a Crushing Hammer, Tails. Don has been, like flipping Tails like crazy. It seems like it. We see a Fighting Energy got an active. No, we don't. Yes, we do. Alright, so Sycamore discarding his hand, drawn 7 new cards. And let's see, a Trainer's Mail. He's probably looking for a Focus Sash. Looks like he has a Muscle Band. Now, this Muscle Band could make it where Don can knock out the Charizard EX next turn, because he could put the Muscle Band on the active, do 80 damage, and the next turn put down a strong energy in our fighting stadium to do 100 damage to knock out the Charizard. And let's see what Don decides to get here. Could grab the Sycamore for next turn. I don't know if he has a supporter card in his hand or not. I'm not sure what's all in there. I'm trying to look sideways and see, but it doesn't help me. Professor Letter. Now, Don can use the Professor Letter right now to get 2 fighting energies and then abuse Scorched Earth to draw 2 more cards. We see a Muscle Man going out to the active, so that way it does 80 more damage, or 80 damage total. We see a Crush Hammer. Tails once. Oh no, that's a nope. It is a Tails. And then we see a Flying Press doing 80 damage. And on to Chance's turn. Let's see what happens. We see a Blacksmith attaching to fire. We see an Assault Vest, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. Now, the Assault Vest will actually save him if Don puts down a strong energy. We see a Professor Litter getting a fighting, and maybe that's it? Yep, just 1 fighting energy. Now, if Don has a Muscle Band and a fighting stadium, he can still knock out the Charizard right now. Let's see what he does. Going to use Scorched Earth to draw 2 cards. There's a Verse Seeker and a Trainer's Mail. Let's see what he gets. There's a Super Scoop Up and a Lysander. Neither one of those are they're pretty much useless in this right now at this current moment. And let's see what Don does. We see a Strong Energy, Verse Seeker, Sycamore, going to discard his hand, draw 7 new cards. Now this Flying Press, it's only going to do 40 damage because of that Assault Vest. So there's a Focus Sash coming down, which is great. That means if Charizard tries to knock out Lucha this turn, it actually won't, because the Focus Sash will save it. And let's see what happens. See an Ultra Ball, discarding Lucario, and discarding a Professor Birch. Grabbing another Hawlucha. It's just a Hawlucha army right now. Try to deal with these Charizards, alright? So, looks like we're going to see, just a Flying Press for 6, 8, and then 40. I think it does 40 damage. Yep, alright. So, on the Chance turn, we see that Charizard is heavily damaged. We see a Scorched Earth. And it looks like it's turn 1? I think that's what Don does symbolize by putting the 1 energy out. We see a retreat from the Charizard EX, going to promote the Entei. Okay. We see a Blacksmith putting 2 fire energies on the active. And we might see a Flame Screen doing 30 damage to this Hawlucha. Yeah, this Hawlucha. And oh no, he actually uses the Heat Tackle. Okay, and it looks like he flipped Tail, so he puts 30 damage on himself. And on to Don's turn, let's see what happens. He does have the Crushing Hammers. Not sure how useful that's going to be. He has another Hawlucha. And it is turn 2 onto Don's turn. Alright, see Don. Alright, and we see Don to scoop the game. He realizes he can't take a prize card, and that's game number 3. Yep. And the way game number 3 works, I don't know if some people, if you know this, when time is called in game number 3, who has ever taken the most prize cards wins the game. And we see that Don cannot actually take any prize cards, so Chance would win the game because he has 5 prize cards left. Don has 6 prize cards left. If Don would have had a let's see, an energy and a Lysander, he could have brought up the bench Charizard, Flying Pressed it for knockout, and he would have gone down to 4 prize cards. But then Chance could have retaliated with an Entei to knock it out as well. It would have been very, well, 4, 8, 12. Oh, he could have retreated to Lucario and knocked out the Entei that way. And then if Chance had a Lysander to knock out the other guy, I don't know, it's weird. But the reason why Chance won is because he was up on prizes in game number 3. I know some people don't understand the concept of best 2 out of 3, but that's what happens. Especially, like, let's say, I'll explain it right now, just in case if you don't understand. Like, let's say, like I said before, there's 3 games in best of 3. First game, you know, usually that doesn't go to time. But game number 2, if nobody has taken 4 or more prize cards, then the game is not counted as complete after +3, and nothing happens. I think that's correct. Don't catch me wrong. But let's say game number 1, Chance won. And game number 2, Don had taken 4 prize cards and Chance didn't. The Don would win that game. But if Don didn't take 4 prize cards and still had 5 left and Chance had 6 left, even though Don would be up on prizes, I'm pretty sure that Chance that game would not count because there has not been 4 prize cards taken. I could be wrong. Don't quote me 100% on that, but I think that's how best 2 out of 3 works. I'll try to find a rulebook somewhere and I'll link it down below to how best 2 out of 3 works. I know some people have asked me multiple times, how does this work? Why are they tying? Why are some people winning and stuff like that? But in top 8 and top 4, you cannot tie. There actually has to be a winner, obviously, because you have to advance into the finals. But this is Murfreesboro City's top 4. We have one more match left. It is the finals. Obviously, Chance has advanced to the finals with his Entei Charizard deck. Not sure who his opponent will be, but we'll see what happens in the finals. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing Charizard, Entei, taking down the Lucario, Halucha deck, Crush Hammers. I mean, Don just walked into like almost an auto loss because Crush Hammers don't really matter because of the blacksmiths from Chance's side of the field. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Alrighty, bye.